Jurassic World is directed by Colin Trevorrow and stars Chris Pratt and Ron Howard's daughter. Colin Trevorrow has previously directed Safety Not Guaranteed, which I thought was a pretty good film, but I was surprised at the jump from that independent film to, you know, one of the biggest franchises from the 90s. But I thought overall he did a pretty good job with his first blockbuster in Jurassic World. But for this review I'll be going into a few spoilers because I feel like this film's quite difficult to review without going into some spoilers, but I definitely won't say the major spoilers in this film. Film starts off fairly obvious from the trailers that Jurassic Park or Jurassic World is now a fully functioning theme park where they get, you know, thousands of visitors a day going to see these dinosaurs, just like a zoo. And a big genetically modified T-Rex type monster called the Indominus Rex has broken loose and is wrecking it all. So I'll say this is a pretty good monster movie. Certainly not the best Jurassic Park film. Jurassic Park, the original one, is still by far the best out of the 4 films. But this is pretty good compared to the other sequels, I'd say. The action's good in this film, the CGI is good. A lot of people, myself included, don't like a lot of CGI, but it is good in this film. There's a lot of it, but you know, there wasn't that many moments where I thought, oh yeah, that looks so fake, blah 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 blah. You know, it looked real. Easily one of the best scenes is where, it's the bit in the trailer where Chris Pratt sees all the dead dinosaurs, which is like, she's killing for sport. And there's a bit where he's got one of the dinosaurs that's injured and dying, and he's like stroking it, and you know, he's got his hands on the dinosaur, and you know, I'm there thinking, oh my god, that's real. That is amazing. That is some seriously good CGI there. And then I come home, do some research. Yeah, that was an animatronic scene, which just proves to me animatronics are vastly superior to CGI when making films like this. But you know, I'm glad that they did have that animatronic scene in there, and the CGI wasn't bad in this film, like I've said before. The intense action scenes in this, I thought, did feel intense. You know, I did feel like, you know, some of the characters might die at this point, and it was pretty intense. I definitely felt intense during some of the more thriller-like scenes in this film. The 2 characters that we sort of stay with the most in this film are the 2 children that we see in the trailer. And in terms of child acting, I thought they were pretty good. I thought their acting was, you know, it wasn't annoying. You know, that they were believable. The only issue I had was more with the character writing more than anything else. I'll get back to that later. I thought Chris Pratt was really good in this film, to be honest. You know, I've only seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy and doing the voice for Emmett in the Lego Movie, and I wasn't sure how he'd sort of stand as like this, you know, action hero in this film. But he did a really good job, and he was easily the best part of the film. Ron Howard's daughter, that's what I'm going to call her, because I didn't check her name, and I'm not going to now. From the trailer, everyone was a bit worried about what kind of character she was going to be, and she did sort of start off annoying, but you grew to like her throughout the film, at least I thought so anyway. So now I'm going to go through some of the problems in this film, and there are quite a few problems. I just want to make it clear, I did enjoy this film, but the problems are really noticeable, and I think some people watching this, it will be a bit too much for them. So the main problem by far is there are just so many subplots that are unnecessary, in this film. There's a scene with the 2 children. They're riding the monorail to the next exhibit that they're going to see in Jurassic World. And the younger one's crying and getting upset because he saw the lawyer letters that his parents were writing. He said, you know, the 2 different lawyers, the parents getting a divorce, and he starts crying. And this is fine, I guess, but it's never brought up ever again in the film. and it just seems like that scene was put in there as like, oh, we need some character development now, but it's so out of place, and it really took me out of the film. I just thought, where did this come from? And it never came back again ever in the film. And I mean, that was the main subplot that I just couldn't get my head around. But there's so many others. Like I said, there are going to be a few spoilers in here. So there's the head of the park who's also trying to learn how to fly a helicopter. There's a character played by the guy who plays the Kingpin in the Daredevil series. I think he's a good actor, but his character in this, my word, like, so he wants to weaponize dinosaurs, and particularly the raptors, and it's just the most idiotic storyline imaginable. I mean, you know, any logical person knows that you can't use dinosaurs as weapons. You know, the previous 3 Jurassic Park films have taught us that, including this one. And yeah, so that was stupid. And all these subplots and stuff, and all these problems that I had with the film, they were made very clear to me in the end credits when I saw that 3 separate writers had written this film. I said, oh yeah, I can see that immediately. You know, I can see one person wanted to have the divorce scene in there, one person thought, oh, we need character development. And in many ways, the writing in this film is a bit of a mess. But it really didn't knock my enjoyment of this film. I really did enjoy it, and I thought the action scenes were great. However, some of the scenes where, like, you know, it cut back to the kids, you know, I was yawning, you know, it was really tiresome, some of the scenes that didn't have Chris Pratt, Ron Howard's daughter, and the dinosaurs in them. Like, you know, that was, you know, certainly the main point in the main story in this film, Chris Pratt, Ron Howard's daughter, you know, trying to track down the Indominus Rex. And then it cuts back to the kids, and I'm yawning. And also, I thought Chris Pratt, I think, is the main character, but he's not introduced until 20 minutes, half an hour into the film. And that sort of confused me a little bit into who the main character is. Is it Chris Pratt or the kids? I'm pretty sure it's Chris Pratt. He was easily the most enjoyable part of the film. Another big positive I thought in this film, a lot of people when they were watching the trailer, myself included, when they saw Chris Pratt controlling the raptors, everyone was like, you know, well, what the hell is this? This is going to be stupid. And you know, the main theme of the Jurassic Park films was you can't control nature, and that seemed to go against that completely. But watching the film, I can say that, you know, that isn't a problem in this film. The whole, you know, man controlling nature thing, that isn't in there. And I thought that the film handled that really well and was one of the stronger bits in this film. Some more like positives / negatives, it depends what way you look at it. There's a lot of throwbacks to the original Jurassic Park in there, which, you know, is really good and shows that Colin Trevorrow is a big fan of the Jurassic Park films, but then they do seem like they're thrown in there a bit just to, you know, just for the nostalgia feeling, but, you know, I liked it. Okay, so to summarise this film, I think it's a really fun summer blockbuster film that's certainly going to make a ton of money. It does have a lot of plot issues, and more specifically subplot issues with, you know, kids' parent story that is really uninteresting, weaponizing dinosaurs, which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There are a lot of, like, little and big problems in this film, but I still really enjoy the hell out of it. You know, children are going to love this film as well, and, you know, probably get them into that Jurassic Park universe. There's a lot of problems in this film, but I loved it, and I'm going to give it a B grade.